Today, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon signed new legislation that should close a loophole in child abuse reporting.
Now, this new law requires abuse reports be made directly to the state's Children's Division. Meanwhile, one local mother says other gaps in Missouri's child protection system failed both her and her 4-year-old son, who died last fall.
41 Action News investigator Melissa Yeager has tonight's exclusive interview.
Well, Krista and Mark, a medical examiner recently testified in court that Lucas Webb had dozens of bruises and cuts all over his body, internal damage, and injuries that were weeks old. His mother wants to know why, despite several hotline calls, a doctor never examined him.
Lucas!
Watching memories of happier times on her cell phone, the hurt over losing her son is still raw for Brooke Barnes.
He was a great kid. I couldn't have asked for a better kid. And boy, did he, he hung on every word I said. If I said the sky was purple, the sky was purple. It's hard because he loved me, and I know he loved me, and I know that he will hurt.
Brooke is no stranger to social services, having had 2 calls on herself, and later social services removed Lucas due to concerns about a boyfriend in the home. But she believes the system that should have protected Lucas failed him.
He came home with bruises all over him.
These are some of the pictures Brooke took of what she saw. She called the hotline in 2009, but DSS records show caseworkers dismissed the allegations, saying the injuries were consistent with an accident.
Slipped in automatic socks and hit a dresser. I said, really? I don't think so.
Despite additional calls from Lucas's daycare about bruising, DSS documents never show caseworkers consulted a doctor, and Brooke doesn't understand why.
I just don't know why nobody took him and stopped it. Nobody.
In cases of physical and sexual abuse, the state of Missouri encourages child protection workers to seek a medical evaluation from a place like here at Children's Mercy Hospital. Here they have a clinic exclusively dedicated to investigating child abuse claims, with doctors seeing more than 3,000 kids each year. Still, many children never make their way through the system to these experts because it's ultimately up to the worker's discretion.
Every child is not automatically brought to us. I think they probably should be, but that's not the way the system is set up right now.
Dr. Jim Andhurst works in Children's Mercy's scan clinic.
If we're not accessed appropriately by the investigative services, I don't know what happens to those cases. I fear there are people in jail who don't belong there and those sorts of things. Conversely, if, in other cases, I think kids are returned home and the abuse continues.
Having seen other cases like Lucas's, Dr. Andhurst started noticing some investigators didn't have the medical knowledge to know if something really was an accident. So he created an app for smartphones and tablets. Investigators put in the child's injury.
For instance, if a child fractures their femur, it shows the different ways that a femur fracture can happen.
And the app shows them how the injury likely happened.
A buccal fracture of the femur occurs when a compressive force is applied to the bone. This can happen from a fall directly onto the knee or from another person exerting a compressive force.
That can help investigators decide if the details told to them about how the injury happened could really have happened, so they can continue to ask questions.
I can't go into a house and interview a parent or interrogate people, but they can. And so if we can make them better at that, that's what we want to do.
Those questions weren't asked in Lucas's case. The Department of Social Services says 2 people lost their jobs because of errors surrounding Lucas's death. But Brooke says that's little consolation for her enormous loss.
My heart is gone. Lucas was my world.
For Melissa and Justin Webb declined our request for comment. Meanwhile, the Department of Social Services conducted a review of Lucas's case and found policy was not followed. Specifically, the investigating worker did not address all of the allegations of abuse, did not review prior case history, and Lucas was not interviewed alone. And Mark and Krista, to keep this from happening again, the Children's Division says it is developing its own tool, a paper tool, to help guide staff through their investigations.
Wow, it's really hard to see. Looking back at his pictures in that video, what a smiling little guy he was.
You can feel the heartbreak.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Well, just a little more information on that app, that child abuse app the Dr. Andhurst created. It's now being used in 200 departments across the country and 13 foreign countries.